shit, we're back, boys. FPL Draft Boyz Season 2. Draft Boys. How about that new intro? Shit.
That's fresh. So clean.
I loved it. Man. I mean, how did you get so good over the break, Hito, at beatboxing?
Oh, you know, mate, I haven't not much to do lately in lockdown, so I had a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah, it's a bitch. Well, unfortunately, Sydney's in lockdown, for those people who don't know. That means the Draft Boys can't be in the same room, which brought a tear to my eye. I cried.
It did.
I know. I missed our little pre-record. Yeah.
Yeah, look, the audio quality might not be exactly what we're used to, but, we're committed. We're still here.
Yeah. We're here for the fans, for the people.
For the people. So for those people that
podcast.
Yeah. For those people that don't know what, as Miles says, the People's Podcast is about, and is only just joining us for season 2, we are an FPL draft podcast. We discuss the draft format, and we don't like the budget format, so fuck that shit.
Yeah. We don't love it, but they can listen.
Miles
if
is
they
more.
Miles
he's on the fence. I like to commit. I just go fuck that shit.
I'm multi-talented, boys.
Sharing ain't caring. That's how we approach our players.
All right,
just
boys.
Listen to my advice.
I'm skipping you, boys. We're moving straight into Snack Chat, our favourite segment. Boys, We're doing it a bit different this week. Obviously, we can't be in the same place, and it's a bit difficult for one person to get snacks to all of us, considering we're not allowed to go further than 10 Ks from our home. So, unless for compassionate reasons, which I believe it would have fallen under that, but, the government has other ideas.
Yeah, care package.
Anyway, so what we're going to do this week for Snack Chat is we're all going to have our snacks and drinks individually, and we're going to start with Hito. Hito, what do you got?
Well, this week, boys, speaking of care packages, I had one delivered to me this week. As part of that, I got given some Bilpin non-alcoholic ciders.
Ooh, so, Hito, pregnant,
non-alcoholic.
Yeah, I know. I've got to drink them sometime, and
with us is when you chose. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Rude.
Yeah, apple and ginger for those wondering. It's quite nice.
We weren't wondering.
See a bottle of vodka behind you. Just go get some vodka and use that as a mixer.
Yeah, maybe later.
Give us a taste of cocktail, Hito.
I've got to have something that will keep me halfway through.
All right. And what are you snacking on?
My snacks, I've just got some lolly snakes from the Natural Confectionery Company. Just some sugar to go with sugar.
They're the best snakes around. They make the best stuff.
Pretty good.
I prefer Allen's,
dude.
To be honest,
are you?
Nah, no way, man.
Yeah, you're the king of controversial shit.
No, I genuinely believe it.
You probably like the yellow color as well the most, don't you?
I do. I love the yellow.
Who is this guy?
He'll take whatever he can get. All right, Miles. Speaking of taking whatever you can get, what snacks have you got this week?
All right, for my drink, I just got Coronas because we're in COVID season, and I thought that I would just, have the Corona juice, as you will.
What an amazing marketing campaign this whole pandemic has been.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
they're so.
It's Rona season, boys.
Yep.
And for my snack, I just got a pack of kettle chili chips. They're my favorite chips.
Love it.
Yeah, with a Corona, they just go down so sweet.
Yeah, look, I completely agree with that. That is a great selection there. Fully backing that, much more than Hito's. If I was going to pick either of your snacks at this point, I'd pick Miles by a long way.
It's not even a question.
Okay, me this week. Well, as we all know, the Tokyo Olympics is running at the moment, so I thought I'd get a Japanese theme going on here. I've only really gone a Japanese theme for the beer, but it was pretty cool. So I've got a Monsuta Okinawa Dry Premium Draft. It's got a big sumo wrestler on, so it's a bit sort of sport themed. I've never had it before. I'm very excited.
What does it taste like?
Look, I'll give you a little bit of the background on the back here. Giant size taste.
Oh.
Not translated well. When the dust settles, take a moment to honour the legacy of the Monsuta with smooth, crisp refreshment. Monsuta Okinawa Dry is brewed using the finest quality ingredients to create a dry lager of unseen magnitude.
All right, that's it. Fuck the restrictions. I'm coming over there right now for one of them.
Yeah, baby. All right, and here's my new tradition. Whenever I crack a beer, I say, fuck you, COVID.
So they're real high in calories. Is that why they're built to make you?
Built, yeah.
What did it say?
I don't know, mate. It said a lot of things. I couldn't go all over it. Let's just leave it at the fact that it's got a sumo restaurant on the front.
Yeah.
And I'm going with some classic Smith's cheese and onion chips for my snack. It's the bomb diggity. It's the best pairing with a nice beer.
I'd go yours over Hito's as well.
Mate, it's an easy choice, isn't it?
I set higher standards for my friends than I do myself. You know, if I was bringing it for you, I'd up my game. But
yeah, you better hope so.
Yeah, you fucking better not bring that shit to pod when we can drink it.
That's why I'm drinking it now, to keep my options open.
I see why your boss gave it to you. He was trying to offload it. He's like, here's a care package. All right, boys, let's get into it. So I guess what I should do is maybe summarize what we're covering in this pod. Obviously, the Premier League season hasn't started yet. So we're doing a couple of preseason pods just covering a bit about like draft strategy and stuff like that. But I'll go through in order what we're going to talk about here. So if you'd like to skip through to any particular section, you can. We're going to talk about Premier League players at the Euros and Copa and just a little bit of a general chat about those competitions. We'll dive into the done deals in the transfer market in the Prem. We're also going to go over a bit of the rumour mill, what hasn't happened yet, but some exciting stuff going on there. And then we're going to round it out with a bit of draft tactics, which we'll cover half this week or half this episode, half next episode. Of our draft tactics. And then finally, we're just going to bring up some of the forwards on our radar.
Nice.
Let's get into it. I'm keen.
Let's do it, please.
So the Euros, Copa, did you guys watch a lot of it?
Yeah, actually, I didn't watch much Copa. I watched the final and most of a semi-final, but Euros I watched heaps of, actually.
Why do you think that is, that you didn't watch much Copa? Like, I was the same, and I think, Hito, you said you were the same too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was really invested in, it coming home, and I really wanted to go through that whole process with all the England fans, and it was close, but it went to Rome instead.
It went to Rome. It's coming Rome. How good was Bonucci there?
So
right
good.
The camera. That was pretty funny. I mean, I'm sure any England listeners won't be agreeing with me, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed personally, but yeah, it was fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed watching, all of the Premier League stars and a couple of players that won me the trophy last season, actually.
Okay. All right, we've heard enough from Miles. Hito, what do you think of Sterling, that comp?
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I thought we'd see a lot of fatigue after a very weird end of Premier League season from a lot of the English players, but they somehow got through it and they looked really sharp. I thought Sterling looked pretty good for it.
He just looked, well, as a Sterling owner for me last season, I was, probably watching him closer than others maybe, but he looked so different. Like, for me at City, he just looked like he was coasting a bit. He wasn't finishing very well. And then, like, I heard him in interviews during the Euros, and he was fired up. And I just don't think we'd seen that fire at City this season. And shit, he got 3 goals and an assist. And for me, I think he was one of the better players of the tournament, or definitely for England.
Yeah. Maybe he'd already been slightly hinted from Pep that he might be in the shop window with any kind of trades with Tottenham.
Hey,
how would you feel if you were Sterling, if you were being bartered in the Kane deal? You'd be like, that's such an insult,
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. I wouldn't be stoked on that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But with the Kane and Sterling, I felt that they linked up really, really well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pep wanted to actually keep them both.
Yeah. I mean, they're one of the only teams that probably could afford that. You know,
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, man. Lots of moves, but I think also as well, I was just going to jump onto. It's hard not to talk about Luke Shaw.
Oh fuck!
He was fantastic in the Euros.
I know. I agree.
Yeah,
it's weird. I don't know why I don't rate him, and I was kind of reminded a bit more of his story during the Euros about what kind of went on with his injury and how bad it was.
Yeah,
and
it was terrible.
To make the comeback he's made, it is pretty impressive. And we all remember the Shaw at Southampton. Everyone was frothing on him.
Yeah.
And he hadn't looked like that Shaw in a while. But, God, his balls in were tight.
Yeah, really good.
Freshly shaved.
He's a Chelsea fan as well, Grew up a Chelsea boy.
You never know. No, we're pretty covered at left back, aren't we?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're good. But yeah, no, that was good, and that finish from him on the volley was very nice.
Oh, mate, yeah. How do you guys feel about I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but how do you guys feel about fatigue
for this coming season?
Yeah,
I've been thinking about it a lot, actually. And I think we should definitely bring it up when we talk about our draft tactics. But to cover it quickly here, typically when they have a tournament in the off season, the teams that go deeper, the players that go deeper in the comp come back late, which usually means that they won't be match fit for another couple of weeks. So there's some missed out points there. So you can expect England and Italian players to be late starters to the season, but also, they've just gone straight in. There's no break.
I know it's pretty mental. I just kept thinking that the whole time, this is great, but I'm so keeping my eye on who's playing a lot, who am I going to be hesitant about? But yeah, I guess outside of Euros, boys, a superstar from last season, Emi Martinez, hero in the Copa, hey.
Yeah, big time.
God, he's my hero. I love that dude.
What a story,
he's such a good keeper.
Did you guys see a bit about his story too?
I did,
yeah.
It's crazy, how he moved all the way over to England when he was so young and went out on loan a bunch. For 10 years he was at Arsenal, hardly played, makes a move late in his career to Aston Villa and gets called up and wins a fucking Copa America. That's amazing.
Oh, it's so cool.
Did he win the Golden Glove in Prem? He must have.
No, I don't think he did, but he was the highest scoring keeper in fantasy.
Because he just made all of those outstanding, bonus point matches and.
Well, he had
Edison won with 19 clean sheets last season.
Okay,
but the thing is, Martinez faces a lot more shots at Aston Villa, so he's going to naturally get some more saves. And even if he doesn't have as many clean sheets, which they did have a lot, he's going to get more of those points from saves.
Yeah,
saves and bonus points, and
So cool. He was outstanding. Other ones for me, Grealish, didn't start a lot, but God, when he came on, he looked good, and he was such a fan favorite, eh?
He was, yeah.
And I get it. There's a bit of sexy style there. I don't know. He's just got this Grealish thing about him.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Any other big players for you guys, or you want to move on?
Yeah, no. That's pretty much it for me. I mean, one quick note is, Messi finally got his international trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tick that one
It's got to be a slower clap than that, I think,
Yeah.
That's better. Done. All right. Yep. I'm so happy for Messi. He's got all the trophies now except the World Cup. Sorry, mate. Okay, transfer news. Let's get into it. Done deals. Dirty deeds or dirty deals. Done dirt cheap. There you go.
That's it.
Nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not dirt cheap for some of them, though.
No, they're not all dirt cheap, and that might lead us into our first transfer here, Ben White, for 50 mil.
Yeah.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It is, but it seems to be the price tag that comes with English players.
Yeah.
A good English defender, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that, when Harry Maguire went and we're looking at it being 80 mil, really, is he that good? Because, I think Van Dijk's so far ahead of Harry Maguire, and I think he was a bit cheaper and only a year before that. So I look at the Ben White thing, and I think he was good, especially last season for Brighton. But 50 million, it's a lot for me.
I'd agree. It's really hard to judge this current transfer market because, like, all the prices have blown out so much. But, I mean, one of the big factors coming into some of those transfers is that English, if they've got the English nationality, then they cost like
beneficial
10 million
for them.
more.
Yeah. And from Prem to Prem, it's,
Yeah, that's always a good move. Look, I don't mind the move, and like maybe, he's what they need in their defense. Like they've been pretty rubbish for a couple of years now. So I don't know. Maybe this will be a good change.
It's definitely what they needed. I think that they might need a more like central defender instead of, because he's a bit more of a wing back, wouldn't you say? I think he played out on one of the wings.
Yeah, I think he played like right back for Brighton, I think.
Oh, my mistake.
But I don't know. If he's actually. I don't think he's actually a wing back.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, not a wing back, just a right back. It definitely will shore up their defense, which has just been shocking for years now. Actually, like, I mean, I know they didn't score a lot of goals last season, but a few for the seasons before, they were losing games from just conceding, not from not scoring.
Yeah. Boys, he's a centre back. I'm right. I'm bloody right here.
Is he?
Ben White. He's an English professional footballer who plays as a centre back for Premier League club Arsenal.
Oh, I thought he played out right back or something for Brighton last year.
Look, maybe that's how they're selling it, because maybe he's. Arsenal.
They played three at a back, didn't they?
Oh, they did actually.
Maybe he was right of the three because they had Lamptey and Solly March playing the wing backs.
Someone corrected me this literally the other day. I thought he was a right back. I was like talking to an Arsenal fan. He's like, no, he was a centre back. I'm like, well, really? And then I looked it up, and then I was like, oh yeah, fuck, he was. And then you guys doubted it. I was like, oh shit, I've got bad info. But then I had to look it up. All right, he's a fucking centre back. All right. So it is what they need for me. Like, I think they're pretty good on, out wide in defence. It's more been down the middle that's been a problem. So
yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
And another big one, or fairly big buy for Aston Villa, Emi Buendia.
Yeah.
38 million from Norwich. Shit.
Yeah. I think he was just their creative spark that they had last year, and I think actually it's probably a really bad decision from Norwich for letting that go, especially just coming back. But what were you thinking, Hito?
Well, there was heaps of rumours when he left, when Norwich got relegated last season, or season before last, that heaps of people were interested. And the fact that they managed to hold him for a promotion battle, I think that might have been the last thing. It's like, help us stay here, get us back up. And then I think it was going to be really hard to not sell him. But that's some good money. Like, as a player, he's not, like, he's good, but he's not, I don't know. I think he's very much an Aston Villa type player. I don't think he's anything crazy.
I'd agree. Yeah, look, he was involved in a lot last season for Norwich, and if Aston Villa are facing, the deficit of not having Grealish,
I was going to ask, do you reckon that's just a bit preparing for Grealish leaving?
I'd say so. I think they're spending the cash before they've got it from Grealish, maybe.
Yeah.
And look, one of the big problems we noticed with Aston Villa last season is, as soon as Grealish wasn't playing, they just weren't the same team. And
big time.
Barkley has gone back to Chelsea. They need someone else that can like hold the ball, be creative, and make the other players around him more, which I think Buendia does. So I think it'll be interesting. We'll see. I don't know if Aston Villa will have the same season that they did, or at least start of the season that they did last year, but if they lose,
it's good business for Villa, bad business for Norwich. But as you said, they probably kind of owe it to him for staying and getting them back up.
Yeah, for sure. One other quick note, just to mention, Ashley Young back at Aston Villa.
Yeah,
bit crazy.
Blast from the past.
I know.
Yeah, is that like with maybe a tie just to get him back to England, become a coach or something? I can't see him playing much.
Yeah, I don't know. Who's he competing with position-wise there?
Oh, well, he's got like Matty Cash.
Matty Cash. Well, that's what I thought.
Right back.
Oh, no, he's right back, isn't he? Yeah.
Right back. And then, is it Target? No, or is that the Burnley guy? I always forget.
No, it's Target. It's Target.
Target?
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Tajay.
Yeah,
boys,
I think he's
Tajay.
more. I think Tajay. Sorry, I feel like it's more just depth and potentially maybe he just missed the taste of like English bird poo instead of Italian bird poo.
Man, I was going to say it, but I was like, you know what? I'll leave it out.
That is brutal. That's what I nearly vomit every time I see that. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting.
You got to give it to him though. Like he didn't even react. It was just straight in. He was just like, you know what? I'll just eat it. Maybe a bit of energy that I need.
Oh man. Okay, let's move on.
I got energy. Got a lot of energy. Wait.
All right.
So who's left the Premier League though?
Our boy.
The last Aussie. Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that he moved to Arsenal, hey?
Yeah.
Something
I thought
happened.
it was weird.
He went down the pecking order severely at Brighton and just got told you can fuck off. So he went to Arsenal randomly and then now off to Real Sociedad. But
yeah. I mean, hopefully he gets a good amount of game time there. I still think he's probably our best keeper Australia-wise. But yeah, gone from the Prem.
Yeah.
No Aussies now.
I know. And another guy, a staple of the Prem's also left as well, Giroud. Slipped out the back door after years of being rumoured for this team or that team or never getting first team action.
I know. Yeah. I think he'll do well wherever where's he gone, Milan?
Yeah, I think it's AC.
Who is he competing with against there?
Zlatan. Oldies up front.
Interesting. Anyway, they're kind of similar in a lot of ways.
That dressing room's going to be like full of body oil.
Oh God, yes.
Maybe they're trying to make it. Maybe they're trying to fill out their team naked calendar for the year. They're trying to get some good looking boys in.
I think it'll sell.
I'm buying one.
All right. What else have we got? Highlights of the done deals. Maybe not a highlight, but maybe worth a mention. Crystal Palace and they've obviously made a big change with their manager. Gone from the old boy to the young boy.
Who's the new manager? Vieira.
Vieira. So it's interesting. I think Crystal Palace will be one to watch for sure for this season. They're definitely going for some younger players. They've got quite a few players on loan from different places, but a new young, exciting attacking player, Michael Olise. He's a midfielder from the Championship. He had 12 assists, 7 goals last season, and might be a bit of a window of opportunity there for him because Izzy is out for the season. I don't actually know. When did that happen? Was that?
It happened about 3 or 4 weeks before the Prem ended last season. I think he did like an ACL or something. Actually,
Achilles. It says Achilles injury.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big loss for them. So
I think it was in training as well.
Yeah, I know that's brutal. They're going to be looking for someone to fill that hole. And so I think Michael Olise is one of the big options there. And just to support that kind of youth going to Palace at the moment, they just got Conor Gallagher on loan from Chelsea, who was at a Championship side last season. He's meant to be a decent prospect for Chelsea, so should be interesting. Another Chelsea player, Mark Guehi, I don't really know how to pronounce his name. One of the more promising centre-backs. And they've let go of a few centre-backs at Palace this season. Pretty sure quite a few of the main boys are gone. I don't have the exact names here, but
changing of the guard, eh?
Yeah, it is. And that kind of supports the next signing I was going to talk about, which is Anderson coming in from the Denmark player.
Was he the guy that was playing for Fulham?
Yeah.
On loan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got a decent rep there, and yeah, he started 3 times for Denmark in the Euros, so he's playing at a national level. So
okay, it'd be interesting to watch.
Quite a different looking team there. So yeah.
And Zaha's staying, you reckon? Have you guys been hearing anything?
Honestly, he's not been on the rumour mill that much, or not that I've heard.
I haven't seen anything. I was wondering if you guys had.
Mate, he's Palace for life. He hasn't gotten out this far so far either.
Yeah. I just don't know. After watching that Palace doco too, like, I don't know if you boys have seen it on Amazon, but...
No, I didn't.
Oh, dude, it's good.
I want to, though.
Oh, you've not seen it? It's fucking sick.
No.
It's basically about their promotion and, like, the time when their managers, their leadership was changing and the ownership was changing.
Oh, okay.
Neither of you guys have heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah. Watch it. I've got one more ep, I think, to watch, but it's very good. Anyway, that's enough time on Palace.
That's very unlike Palace for something to be good. So
yeah, true. I think basically,
fuck you, Hito. That's rough.
Yeah, but the reason it's good, Hito, is because it's one of those struggling stories.
Started from the bottom, we're still here.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You should be used to struggling as well. You guys struggled for like 18 years.
Not as bad as Palace. Or maybe that's why I don't want to watch it. It's too much trauma.
All right, boys, someone's back in the Prem at Everton.
I didn't recognise him at first. He's got no hair now.
What?
Or
I didn't see that.
Very receding hairline.
Oh, really?
Begovic.
Yeah,
Begovic.
Yeah.
He's a great keeper.
Is he going to be first choice, you reckon?
Nah,
I don't think so.
Unless Pickford's going somewhere. I think they just had some shit backups they've shipped off.
I think Bego's a great backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, great backup.
Yeah. They've really dipped into the cheap side of the market, Everton, so far. Townsend for free, Begovic, I think, for free, Damari Gray for like $1 million. they really haven't given Rafa.
That's a steal.
They haven't really given
Actually,
Rafa
I don't know
a
about
budget.
you guys, but I really rate Damari Gray. I always have.
He's looked good in preseason from what I've seen, which, that's not too big, but, that is something worth mentioning. I think he's definitely a wait and see prospect, but yeah, not bad. Like, I don't know. $1 million.
Just who was it? Like, on that side, it was Allen, wasn't it? Last season for Everton. And I just never really rated him out there on the wing. And I think Damari Gray will give them that extra option of.
Allen was deeper.
Really? He was playing out on the right wing for so much of the season, I thought.
He's more of a central mid, but
it's because he was probably covering James, who was coming inside off the right and didn't do any tracking on the right. So he probably got stuck out there. But I don't know what Rafa's going to play. He's traditionally a bit more defensive. So
I thought Allen was actually a good signing from them. He's a decent ball player in the midfield, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Next one of mention, Junior Firpo from Barcelona.
Who's that?
He's a kind of an attack-minded left back. He's moving to Leeds. Sorry, I should have said the club he's joining. He's moving to Leeds. He's going to be a direct replacement for shit.
What?
Alioski, maybe?
Alioski.
Yeah.
Or is it Ailing? No. Might have been
Alioski was on the left.
What, is he left?
So Ailing was on the right.
One of them's left. Sorry, we're going to have to check that. Someone check that for me. But, Firpo is attack-minded left back. And, will definitely suit that, Leeds style of just fucking attack.
I love it.
Yeah, it's Alioski.
Yeah, Alioski. Yeah. But he's left, right?
Yeah. He's not in the team.
So, so I think he'll definitely slot right in. He's not played a lot at Barcelona. Obviously, I don't think anyone's heard of him. So you normally hear about Barca players. But, he's... I think he'll be interesting. He's not played a lot of minutes for a while, but it sounds like he's going to create. So we'll see.
Yeah, one to watch with Barca trying to offload some of their wage bills. So lots of Barca players appearing around the world.
I know. None of the ones you want, though.
No.
Where's Messi?
Yeah, exactly. It's all to pay his wages, mate. They're just going to have a team of one man.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Miles, do you know anything about this guy, Patson Daka, who's moved to Leicester?
Yeah, a little bit. So it kind of looks like Leicester are looking at kind of life after Vardy. So, they've obviously got Kelechi Iheanacho, who, is amazing. But I think that, Rodgers wants that second option. So they've brought this Daka in. It seems like he's kind of got a lot of pace, similar to Vardy, probably not like Red Bull Vardy, but he's maybe just like a V or something like that.
Monster.
Yeah, like just a monster. But yeah, I don't know how much time he's going to get just because of the Vardy and Iheanacho combo. And there's actually big questions. Like, do you think Rodgers is going to play two at the front again, like he did for the tail end of that season, which seemed to be working for him? Vardy was a little bit more of a creative role rather than that attacking that he saw, like that counter.
Yeah.
Obviously, he still had it, but
I think they'll be the main two, and then Daka will just be slowly kind of integrated and provide a bit of depth.
Yeah.
He's got 27 goals and 28 appearances in the Austrian League last year, so we'll see how that converts to Premier League, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think as well, one thing to consider is Harvey Barnes is fit again. And one of the big, Iheanacho really came in when he was injured. And that's when that all changed. So with Harvey Barnes,
but you can't leave him out now. Like after what he did, you can't leave him out.
I agree. I just think there's a lot of selection issues there, and maybe there'll be some more rotation this season. And as we all said, last season was weird, and players may not have fully recovered from that yet. So, it doesn't look like this season will be much different. We're already hearing COVID cases in Premier League teams, so I think teams are going to rotate more, and that's one thing people are going to have to factor in with fantasy.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Liverpool. I know, Hito, you've been burning to talk about your one very exciting transfer. Tell us about him.
It's probably only one signing we'll have this season. It really doesn't seem like we're going to sign anyone else, to be honest.
You don't think Mbappe is coming?
Nah, not till next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Just trying to mate, wait till we get onto your boys, fantasies with Haaland. That's not happening either.
Doesn't matter. We'll get another great striker.
Not Lukaku. He doesn't want to come back.
I don't want him.
I'd take him.
So we've signed another centre back, Konate. Nice, just depth. We obviously got completely ravaged last year with first team defenders. So just providing some more depth, young guy. It'd be interesting to see how he goes. He's an absolute beast. He's like 6'5" or something.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes, but just some nice depth, I guess. Nothing too crazy to shout for fantasy to think about, I think.
I'd agree. Definitely some depth. And if there's any Liverpool injuries in that area, you know who to jump on.
Yeah, definitely. I hate to say it, but I think Man U's got probably the most exciting transfer news so far this season.
Yeah, I don't know if they've... I guess it's good business. My favourite transfer of theirs is Varane.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Just because it was not as drawn out over 2 seasons?
Yeah, I don't know. Sancho, there's a lot of hype there. Like, Varane, he's proven. That's one of the best centre-backs in the world, if not the best at the moment. And I think he's going to change United's defence a lot. I don't know, Thiago Silva came into Chelsea's defence and, yes, there was a bit shaky at times during the Lamps era, but, his presence was huge. And I think that's what United's been missing. They just, Maguire's not that guy, or not yet, for me. And I think someone like Varane is just a fast, big, strong defender.
I think Varane next to a more robust Maguire would be a nice combo. previous partnerships there have not been super strong. I think it will kind of help make up for any kind of shortcomings of Maguire.
Because Maguire's a big, strong boy. Like, you know.
Oh yeah, he's good at heading. I don't think he's an okay ball player. Everyone says he's good with ball at his feet. I don't know if I agree with that, but I think, I think it's only an upgrade, and I think that's a lot more threatening to come up against, for sure, in defense.
Yeah. But no, I think so too. And then, Sancho up front, like, there's a lot to be proven there.
I just want to jump in, actually. I want to say something about Sancho. I know that you said that you don't rate him too much. I know that you do, but I was the same. And I think it's just because we don't watch a lot of Bundesliga and stuff like that. But I looked at a stat the other day, and he's actually 4th in a list of like most goal involvements from last season. And he's only behind like Messi, Mbappe, Lewandowski, then Sancho at 55 goal involvements for the whole of last season. So I think it's just because we don't watch a lot of Bundesliga to know his actual talents, because like when he was at City, we didn't really get to see much of him. And
yeah, I think
that he's going to shock us.
Look, I'm open to that, but I'm going to stick by basically what I said last season, and this won't be the season for fantasy players. I don't think he's going to come in and blow everyone's minds. Like everyone, it doesn't matter if he's English. I think he's been playing at a professional level in Germany, and it's going to take him a second to acclimatise to Prem.
100%. I agree that it does take a little bit to adapt to the modern Premier League. I'm just not going to be surprised if he comes out firing, especially in an attacking kind of team like United have at the moment. So I'd be very keen to be drafting a couple of United players, especially those attackers.
Yeah, and I think we'll get into that, but they are looking solid this year. So
interested.
Okay, Miles, I know this is a player that you know about. This is our last kind of featured transfer here. We'll quickly talk about him. Norwich, Milo Rashica?
Yeah. So I'm not super interested in Norwich players besides probably Pukki and Milo. But basically he's come in to fill the gap of the new Aston Villa guy, Buendia. And look, like his stats over the last 3 years, I think from memory, were like 21 goals and 17 assists throughout 87 appearances. But yeah, I think he's one to keep an eye on because he could hit the ground running if he gets a good start. So depending on how he fits into the team, I think it's kind of one to keep an eye on. I don't think I'd be wanting to draft him because I think I'm going to stay away from Norwich unless I got Pukki.
Yeah, fuck no. And even Pukki, I'm like, Pukki was, by the end of his season last year, was not last year, but last year he was in.
I'm just thinking if I've got like no one for my third striker, I'd get Pukki, obviously, to have a little bit of a punt on him. But yeah, I'm not really sold on Norwich at the moment.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, look, I agree. I mean, another interesting part of their team as well is Billy Gilmore's gone there on loan. And he's been interesting.
It's going to make them solid.
He's been impressing a lot lately, and maybe he's going to give something to their midfield that shores them up, but who knows? Very much a wait and see. All right, now let's go through a couple of the fun stuff. It hasn't happened.
Yeah.
It's the rumour mill. What have you guys heard? Talk to me.
Well, I guess I just want to cover off maybe, obviously there's some big ones going, but just before we get stuck in that, something that I found interesting, where I only just saw today, talking on the Man U defence side, there's a rumour of Trippier to Man U.
Wow.
Which I thought was interesting.
Really?
Yeah. He plays on the right side, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Isn't that Wan-Bissaka?
It is, but I don't know. I don't think Wan-Bissaka's been that amazing. A lot of people fucking love him, but like maybe they just want, if they're pulling in someone as solid as Varane, maybe they have room now to have a creative Flair on the right side. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Maybe it's a sign of
That
a
is
formation
very
change.
interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to try 3 at the back.
Yeah, potentially could be. But I don't know. It's only just a rumor at this stage. But I thought that was interesting today. I did not see that coming.
No, I'm actually really trying to comprehend that because I'm a big Wan-Bissaka, believer.
Yeah.
I believe in him.
You're a believer.
Yeah, sounds like it.
A believer.
Fuck you, COVID. Sorry.
Oh, you cracking another beer, are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right behind you.
Well, let's dive into the meaty stuff then, boys. Let's do it.
All right. Man City.
Grealish, Kane, are they going?
Oh.
Well, it seems like on BBC News Sport today, they had said that Man City tabled a 100 mil bid for Grealish.
Yeah.
100?
When it's on the BBC, it's normally got some legs.
Definitely.
I rate it. After seeing him last season, he's good, man.
Yeah.
He's
good.
one of those players, he's an impact player. He's got that suave style of playing, reminds me a bit of Hazard in a way, not super similar, but just how he can attract an entire defense and be
His
the
ball
focus.
control is amazing.
It's good. He can create things from anywhere. He brings defenders to him.
And it seems like with all the rumours of potential player swaps for the Kane deal, it seems like some of those names being thrown out there, like Bernardo Silva and, Sterling's been thrown out. And it seems like there's potential dead weight at City. So I don't think Pep's is attached to maybe some of those names historically. So I don't think there's that question of oh, God, how are they going to load in him with all the others in there? I think there's potentially room for others who have lost favour. And
I'd
then
agree with
just
that.
walk straight in there.
They need something, exciting. They've just lost Aguero. They don't really have a striker of any note. They're not really using Jesus yet. Exactly. So that's why I just think, it could be very interesting.
Mate, could you imagine fucking Kane, Sterling, Grealish, Foden?
Wow.
Jesus.
De Bruyne.
English heavy.
You haven't even bloody talked about KDB.
Throw KDB and Rodri sitting deeper. Fucking hell.
And then Mahrez and oh my God, it's actually unfair.
Yeah.
It's a stupid list of names. But I have also heard Chelsea's name in there with the Grealish.
Chelsea's always got a name in there though.
Yeah, because we got money at the moment. We're the only team that survived COVID.
Mate, what do you mean at the moment? You've always had money.
Oh, yeah. But, right now we're juiced up again.
If we're going to move over to the Chelsea, can you just talk to the audience about your theory of the domino effect? Because when you said that to me the other day, it just makes complete sense.
Well, yeah, I have to say it's not completely my theory, but I've seen some stuff out on the internet there. I mean,
claim it, baby.
I'll claim it. I'll claim it. But basically the idea is, there's all these strikers, at all these different teams. And there's only so many top strikers around. And the theory is once one moves, the rest will move. Basically one has to go for the rest to go because it's going to trigger all these transfers after it. So, for example, I feel like Kane is the first one because he said he wants to go. He's pushing for it. There's someone who wants him bad enough in City, it seems like.
Yeah.
So if he goes, then it feels like it'll just open up for everyone else to make their moves.
Yeah.
Well, especially if Tottenham have 100 mil or something to spend,
or 160.
Or that. I don't see them attracting one of the big names that's being thrown around. They'll have the cash, but I don't think they'll get one of the big names.
No, I agree. They're definitely not. They're not going to get a big name, but it's going to start moving things around.
Yeah. Because you're saying once Kane goes, all those other clubs can be okay, we can't get Kane anymore. Let's go to our second or our other options.
100%. Sorry if I didn't explain that well enough, but yeah, so that's kind of the theory. So it will be interesting. And I think that's why there's been a delay with heaps of those clubs that have all been rumoured. Like, there have been so many of the top strikers in Europe rumoured moving this season, like Lukaku, Lewandowski, Kane, Haaland, Mbappe even. It's going to be very interesting because even Mbappe could trigger it in a way. I don't know if he's going, but like Real Madrid right now, they've lost a lot. They've, not attacking.
But they're broke.
Yeah. Who would have seen they've lost both their senior centre backs? That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if they just need to react in a way. Maybe that's just two massive wage bills that they've just cleared up. Who knows if they're preparing for Mbappe. And in that case, then PSG, where are they looking? And then it's boom, 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 boom. Anyway, just a theory, but yeah, it's some really huge names and, some interesting ones that could come into the Prem and really cause a mix-up in your draft strategy.
Yeah. Even Ronaldo's had a bit of chatter around his name. Like, has that been sorted out now?
Mostly, I think. I think Juventus have come out saying he'll be here, but you never know. But there's not many teams that can afford him, so I don't know where he would go. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I don't know either.
Yeah,
he's going to be an interesting one for a while.
Yeah, definitely. There's, I think, as well, just to factor in obviously a lot of big maybes. I think there's some more kind of day-to-day Premier League, fantasy things to factor in of some of the other rumours going around of Zuma to West Ham potentially.
That's huge for them.
Bit of a fantasy powerhouse for a bit last season.
Yeah, look, he's definitely got the ability to score goals, and I don't see him really getting back into the Chelsea team. I could see why he would want to make a move somewhere.
Yeah, especially stay in London. That would be huge for them.
And honestly, like, I would really be looking at him because West Ham were very solid last year and he scores goals.
He scores goals and West Ham play with a back four, which suits him. Like, we saw that when he played in a back three, it wasn't his game.
He was always better. He was never good as the centre back. Like, he was better on either side. For me, he's a little bit too inconsistent to play that position. He doesn't have a cool enough head.
Yeah.
But fuck me, does he make some good tackles? Jesus. Some last season I remember seeing, I was just like, we're fucked. He's given away a penalty and then you look, it's like, oh my God.
Just clean as, yeah.
He's got some skills. Yeah. That is an interesting one. JWP talked about moving.
Oh, James Ward-Prowse, the golden boy.
Yeah, rumours of a shutdown bid from Villa.
I mean, I don't see how Southampton can let him go, especially with Ings being rumoured to potentially go around. Even Chelsea have been mentioned in that list of names. Yeah, I would love that as a signing for Chelsea. Fuck me. If he was out like backup striker, shit.
I think even City were mentioning his name as well. Like, Ings is very, very... Like, he's underrated in a way. Like, I know a lot of people rate him, but I still think that not enough people rate him and his ability.
Yeah.
I think it's because he's just sitting in a mid-table team. Like, if he was up there helping a team push for just smashing games and getting the winner, he's interesting.
And those big teams need to think about that because rotation is a factor and players getting injured is, as Hito said, there's, not much rest between the seasons. They're going to need to be able to rotate, and Ings is a great rotation option.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing is Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, a lot of rumours going around for a few teams, Arsenal, West Ham, Villa. I think he'd be a good signing for any of those teams.
I agree.
Me too.
Honestly, fucking bums me out.
Me too.
Like, I think he's
really
a talent.
proved himself.
It's hard because I don't know if I'm just emotionally connected to him because he's one of those youth players that came up under lamps, and I was really loving that whole like youth revival at Chelsea and relying on that a bit more. Like, when I put my like Chelsea goggles on and go spend big on, like, if we're buying Haaland, then fuck. All right.
Let's go.
Like, let's go. But it does make me a little sad that, that's my team. They're not back in their home boy.
Yeah, I think I liked him too. 2 seasons ago, I really liked him. I was like, fuck, he's a good player. Like,
Yeah.
And he'd be perfect. I think he could definitely sit in a team in the top 6.
I think, I mean, Tottenham, just saying, and Chelsea don't mind fucking giving their good players to local teams. Fucking hell. And yeah, it's, what's going to kill me? It's just, if he turns into just another amazing player that we let go, I just can't anymore. How many of these guys are going to let go? Like, imagine if he's a Tottenham's boy and then they let him run for a year or two. Like, he could turn into a pretty fucking awesome player.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I agree.
But we'll see. All right. We've spent enough time talking about transfers. We better talk about draft tactics.
Yeah, let's
talk about it.
All right. Who wants to talk? Our first topic is balancing squad. Does anyone have some strong opinions here?
Yeah, I mean,
Milo does. Go on, Milo.
Yeah,
sorry, Miles always has strong opinions, but go ahead.
Yeah, I always take this into consideration while I'm drafting. We do a live draft. We don't do the thing where you select your order. So I always like to, draft in according to my squad, but then I also like to look at other people's squads and how they're shaping up and how I can actually counter those players. So, if I see, by maybe round 3 or 4, if I can correctly kind of identify who I think has the stronger teams, I will then move on to trying to counter those people with maybe other players in similar teams, in similar positions, but then also, players that are likely to affect my team.
This all feels very familiar, Miles. Very familiar. I seem to remember us having very similar players, and every single week we were just like, oh, my boy scored. Oh, my boy scored. Oh, my boy scored.
Yeah. So that's part of my strategy. And,
so it's a compliment.
It's a compliment, but it's also just the sheer intelligence of my fantasy abilities, where the viewers know if they listened to my advice last year, they would have won their leagues, because the things that I was doing were just so far in front of you guys that, I mean, you couldn't even catch me with 5 weeks to go.
Mate,
all right.
How many times did I tell you you're not allowed to plug your OnlyFans on the pod to sign up for Miles' custom
my God, that's
transfers?
Good. Fuck me, all of 2 followers.
That's a yellow card, mate. Yellow card. First warning.
Yeah, all of 2 followers, which are you two, because I saw you guys sign up to my OnlyFans the other night.
It's because we've got a discount code, so...
Yeah, there's discount codes that get you.
Yeah.
No, look, I was walking down... I was walking down the street the other day and I saw this like flyer blowing in the breeze, and it was like a topless photo of Miles with a QR code, and I just scanned it, with a discount, and it turned out to be fans.
Yeah, we're not spending our money any other way. We're not spending money either way at the moment, so we've got to put it somewhere.
Okay, to bring us back. So balance of squad. Miles, I do agree in terms of that drafting tactic. I like that you're countering based on stronger teams. I think for me, when I think of balance of squad, I am looking at other teams, because obviously if you're looking at the other people drafting around you and you look at the players that they've picked, you get an idea of where they might go next. And, you might be able to pick a player that you think they're going to go for that's better, and then you might be able to circle back again to get someone that you may have picked earlier, but they're looking for someone in a different position. I mean, it's never that clear cut, but that's the level you've got to be thinking on in draft.
It's good to have that in your mind, because I feel like in a draft, like, everything is relative. You've got to just look at everything that's happening and don't just focus on your team, but focus on the surrounding teams as well.
Yeah, and that can typically happen a lot in the very first 2 picks, because, I mean, we play in a 7-man league, and as we all know, there's only maybe 5 top strikers, and even 5 don't score as high as a lot of the midfielders.
Yeah.
And if you want a decent striker, you have to pull a trigger early.
We do, yeah.
And especially if someone throws in the mix that they double pick a striker early, there's fuck all left. After 2 rounds of striker picks, it's gone. So as soon as someone triggers the strikers, it's on because everyone's like, shit, he's gone. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, if I don't get one now, it's going to come back to me. And I think,
you can get caught up in that though, hey? Like you get caught up in like going, oh shit, I'm missing out on strikers and not looking at their potential for points compared to just looking at the straight numbers and going, well, this midfielder will get more points and I just need midfielder. Like, look, I'll fill out my forwards later, but if I'm strong in another area.
That's a really good shout. It's very easy to get caught into like, oh, they're going, I've got to snap one up whilst I can, when actually you end up picking like a Firmino who's not amazing.
How many times does he get picked early in drafts? Yeah. Like he's seriously, this point haul
too early.
Never been strong.
Too early.
But even get him up in front of me.
Yeah, but even when I read the word like balance of squads, I think about like for me diversifying across teams. Like I don't love to commit super heavy in my draft to one team. I'd rather let it play out a bit and then give me movability to drop variety to move there. Whereas if I'm loaded so heavy in one, I know just for me, I don't like having it. So I like having a balance of top, especially top 6 teams. You just don't know how they're going to go.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, that does blend in a little bit though, like to another point, I like to make in terms of my draft tactics, and we'll probably transition into this from the balance thing. But when you're picking those balanced teams, like if you're going to commit to any particular team, you're committing to the team you think are going to win the Prem. Or the top 2 teams. Like for me,
a lot of goals.
I guess so, but like my tactic in the last couple of years, it's proven pretty good, is to try and commit to those teams that I think are going to win the Prem. Like I used to get caught up a bit in names, like because you get names that float up in and around from the previous season with high point scores that aren't from the top 6, and you got to try and think, okay, which team's going to win this season? Which, we're going to speculate in a later pod. So I won't get too much into that now, but I like to use that as a basis for projecting whether I think a player's going to do well. And I'm talking about your really big players.
Yeah, only your big ones.
Really strong starters. You can't base your whole strategy off that, but like you are looking at, Harry Kane's, or like, I'm not saying Tottenham's going to win. I think probably more likely you're looking at City players, but Harry Kane might factor into that. But yeah, does that make sense? Or Miles, you look very, very upset with my point of view there.
No. I agree, and it's kind of that thing where in draft, once you have them, you own them. Sorry, just getting a bit of a bad connection here. So yeah, with draft, like once you've picked them up, you have them. So when you own the monopoly on that player, even if you don't play them, they might actually come in a bit later in the season, and having depth in your draft team is so key.
Yeah, and I think it kind of transitions into another big point of ours: risk. If you're trying to commit to teams do you think are going to win the Prem, you're definitely reducing your risk. I mean, the only risk, I guess, of picking those teams is that there might be a lot of rotation. And, that's more common in, say, a Pep squad. But for other teams like United, if you think they're going to perform well, like they've got like an easier team to pick, the starting players that will play consistently without rotation.
Yeah.
So you have to factor in rotation as a risk.
And I think you also got to really think about just the players who actually will get points, even though you're trying to skew towards, I've just got to get a City player or something. Like, you're not touching a Rodri. Don't get drawn in by just having a player.
100%.
You got to be careful. Like Liverpool midfielders, you just don't touch.
No.
Like they're not a midfield. It's pretty much the 2 wingers and then the whole back line.
Yeah.
Is where you touch, like there's certain teams and skews that you got to be careful. But I think the risk thing as well is obviously we know those names go so quickly. So there's got to be a level of, you will never know as much as you can about some of the lesser players. And sometimes some of those newcomers to the Premier League, like the transfer news we threw, like there's a level of risk maybe banking on a new promising, like, you know, someone might risk it on Sancho. He might go first round. Like that could be a huge, you know, part of the risk strategy.
That to me is a risk.
Yeah.
That to me,
I think it's a risk, but it's like an educated risk, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
okay. But like, okay,
Actually,
can I put it into
you know
context? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah? I just was
No,
going to give you an example. Okay, last season, Werner came in.
Yeah.
He's going to play at Chelsea. Chelsea's spending a lot of money, but a lot of new players come in. Now, there are other factors because there were a lot of players coming in. But when he was, you know, when Chelsea spent that amount of money with his amount of goals, what were you guys thinking? Was he a risk?
Yes.
I think he was a risk for a first round pick.
Yeah.
I think
like,
a new player to the league in the first round is always a risk, but it's like, that's where you then weigh up that risk reward. It's like, I'm risking it because someone else might not have jumped this early on them, but then if you snag a golden ticket, you never know.
But that's where the gamble comes in.
Exactly. That's the risk part of it. It's like, are you willing to, you know, maybe you might be lucky. You might be on the back end of the snake. So you could, you know, risk it as the third last pick with that type of person, knowing that you're going to get a pretty solid, safe one just 3 picks later.
Yeah, I don't mind that as the strategy. And to me, that's where he'd go.
Yeah.
He's going the back end of the snake.
Yeah. He's not in your first few, but I think there's that's the biggest risk comes from those new players, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too.
And then I think the next tier is those players who last year had a really good season that have never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Can they do it again? Like your Villa defenders, you know, that type of shout, I think, is your next kind of tier of risk.
Yeah, you Berahinos.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this is a really interesting point, and I think it actually like moves to our next kind of topic in this section, which is, you know, like looking at the top 5 picks, or let's call it top 7 picks, because we're in a 7-man league, and I think that there's a lot of people to talk about.
I think when we talk about first 5 picks, we mean first 5 rounds.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just talk about the first rounds just while we're there.
Yeah.
First round draft picks. You know, so if you look at the list that the fantasy website gives to us with their draft ranking, for example, they go Kane, Salah, Fernandes, Mane, De Bruyne, Sterling, Vardy. Okay, that's their top 7. And then straight after that, you got Son, Aubameyang, Rashford, Sancho, Mahrez, Firmino. Okay, so they're the next lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, Mane didn't have a great season, and he's fourth round pick in their draft ranking. You know, he's above De Bruyne, who was injured most of the season.
Yeah, that draft ranking thing it's an interesting one, hey, because it is helpful for sure. And I remember when we used to do this league before this website was around, like we were using the budget version to try and figure all this out, right? And there was no direct reference to draft ranking and stuff like that. And then the draft ranking comes in, it gives you context, and it's definitely a useful tool for sure. But you have to look at it with an eye of going, well, why do they pick this draft ranking? And I'd agree with Miles there for sure that De Bruyne is a more valuable asset than Mane, for example.
Yeah.
You know, and Fernandes was the top scoring player last season, but he's 3rd draft rank. So, like, what do they use to judge that? You know,
I'm very interested to know.
I know.
Like,
and
or is it past seasons as well that they factor into it? Like an
recent
average
form? Like even Fernandes dropped in form towards the end of last season, and some of these other players held their form. You know, Mane, I'd say, you know, De Bruyne too, but they're both like guaranteed minutes as long as they're not injured. Like, you know, I guess Jota does threaten Mane a little bit in that position, but Mane pretty much has the position. So are they going, well, Liverpool are another good chance this year to get goals or an attacking team? You know, Mane might oust De Bruyne. I don't know. Fuck. How do you know how they picked that?
Yeah.
Which is why
it's probably a combo.
Can't just use it.
No, exactly. I think it's a combo as well because Mane was about 8th top point scorer last year and De Bruyne had huge injuries. So I reckon they factor in last year's points somehow to the calculation. But if anyone out there knows, let us know. We might have to do some digging. But boys, for me, when I look at these numbers, I've got a lot of question marks still because I think it depends on some movement where some of these players fall. Like my first big question mark is over Son. If Kane's gone, what happens?
Is he going to be as good?
Like, will he lead the line? He's been doing that in preseason. Yeah, he's been playing up front.
But you know, we know how lethal they are together. Like, does that drop him a little bit? You know, I
would say it does.
Yeah,
he for me is a big question mark.
Yeah,
and whoever goes for him, I believe that wherever they go for him, they have to. It's hard to turn down someone who is so proven in the Prem. Like, he does do a lot on his own. He's a very direct player. So he may not be affected by the loss of Kane, but there's so many factors involved. And it will be a question mark of how late will he go in your league and how long can you wait on him? Because at some point he's a very valuable player. And for me, I just think that like maybe the less researched players or the people in your league that plan this less than we do will just jump on him thinking, golden. So I don't know. That could be a mistake or it could be the right thing. And that's where the gamble comes in with fantasy.
Yep. That's the gamble we're all playing.
But it's the best gamble around.
Best gamble you ever make.
All right. Or the worst. Okay. Well, I think, you know, we've covered off a lot of draft strategy there. It'd be good to kind of round out with our favourite players in a certain position. And this week we're going to just cover forwards and we'll follow up in the next episode with, the rest of the players in the other positions.
Should we say forwards or we want to go straight into it?
How do you mean? Sorry?
No, we can jump straight into it. I'm just wondering, like, let's just do it.
Yeah, let's cover some of them off. Let's tick. We talked about a couple of them already, but I think we can really let's try and nail down like how we'd approach some of these forwards. And I think if we can put them in like I think priority orders of our thinking, as well as like how early should they be approached in your draft, because of their overall value.
Well, I've just using the draft link on the website here. I've just clicked, forwards only. And obviously you still got that draft rank there. So Kane is 1, 7, Vardy is 7. So it does show you a little bit of the value of, in their minds, strikers. And I don't know how much that's just a numbers game or whatever, but it has been proven that midfielders generally score more points unless you are a prolific striker, which obviously Kane is. But then you go down that list. Okay, Vardy is next and Aubameyang is the third. Now, his draft rank is 9 and he had a pretty fucking average season last year. You know, like I would be weighing that up and going, do I take this, there's different risks here. Like Firmino being the next and Werner being the 5th highest rated player. I look at that and go, I think my favorite risk right now might be Werner. Like,
or even like DCL, you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, I'd agree. Or Bamford.
Or Bamford, 100%.
Like I'm looking at these players and going, well, are Arsenal really making moves that change their team enough to change their situation? Not really. Firmino is proven to be consistently more of like he's a, I don't know, what would you call him, Hito?
Oh, he's like a playmaker, really deep lying forward, like false nine type style. I think he's still. You'd be very much like if he became your second striker, you're like, that's okay.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Like, you don't want him to be a best striker.
His draft rank is 13. That's way too high.
That's so high. It's way too high. And I think, there might be a lot of rotation. One thing just to throw with forwards, which I think it will impact more our mid conversation next week. But we've got to remember that there's African Cup African Cup of Nations. Is that how we call it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So both Salah and Mane are going to disappear for a bit this season.
That's true, yeah.
So, does his role have to change a bit because does he have to be more attack-minded because he's not going to have the other two there around? Or does that really make him suffer even more so?
I think it could go either way. It could make him suffer or it could make him thrive. But, with Jota just coming straight in for Mane, Liverpool, they seem to kind of have it figured out when one of those guys are missing. Especially up front, because they had to make it work last season because, they knew that they had to score goals to win games because, their defense was so depleted, as you mentioned before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in terms of some of the forwards then, mate, who for you is sitting in your, like, in the first 3 rounds, they have to go and who can wait maybe?
Yeah. For forwards wise, I personally, I don't want to just be, Chelsea blinded, but I do believe that Werner will have a bit of a breakout season. And if not Werner, I think Kai Havertz, who's still a mid, so we'll speak about him next week. But besides from all the guys that we've spoken about today, I'm really looking at Ollie Watkins. I think that, you were calling it last season that this season will be his breakout year, even though he was like ranked in the top 3 strikers for points at the end of last season. So, and he hit the post probably like 5 or 6 times. So that could have been even in the top, 2 or 3. And so besides Watkins, I'm interested in DCL, Wilson and Antonio. I think those strikers, especially if Antonio can stay fit, I think that there'll be, those good kind of middle tier strikers. After, as you said, as your second striker, I prefer any one of them to Bobby Firmino.
Yeah. Can I just say 100% agree with that? It's so true. And there's not much risk there.
Yeah. How long are you willing to wait for them, though? Are you willing to push your picks out to 3 rounds in or to hit one of them up as your first striker?
Can you say that?
I don't think I'd be waiting too long.
You have to adjust to what your draft's doing.
What do you mean?
You have to adjust to what your draft's doing.
Yeah. No,
for example, if
you can definitely do that.
Everyone goes forward heavy early on, then you have to take that into account.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes, and it typically happens a lot in our drafts. You may miss out on any rewarding forwards, but
yeah, I'm just kind of just curious who's stands above the wider net of mids. We know forwards can be a bit lost. Like who's standing out that you really kind of want to be getting in those first couple, like that you'd be disappointed to not snake outside of some of the big names.
Yeah, look, I think.
Yeah, look, I'm looking through my list, and I think Paddy B, Antonio, Watkins, Wilson, DCL. Besides, your top tier strikers that we've mentioned, and I think there's a few questions of how Jimenez is going to go this season. What's going to happen with him? Are we going to see the old Jimenez before his terrible injury?
There's that risk question.
That's risk. That's exactly what the risk is. But it's risk reward. I mean, there's a lot going on at Wolves this season, so it's hard to know. The new manager and his injury, I would not be taking that risk. He's a 3rd round draft pick for me, like forward. he's a third pick forward for me.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it depends how mid-heavy you go, and it depends how many strikers, that we've just mentioned go. But then after that tier that we've just mentioned, then we can go into a little bit more nitty-gritty. We haven't even mentioned Danny Ings. We don't know where he's going to be. Does Shea Adams actually make a bigger impact at Southampton without Ings there, as we saw last season when Ings was injured? And then we go to other options like Cavani. How many minutes is he going to get? Will he be first choice? Rashford, we haven't mentioned him. He's gone under surgery, I think 2 days ago. How long's that recovery process going to be? Chris Wood, he had a blinder of a finish last season. He scored 8 goals and 3 assists in 11 games. So is he going to continue that form into the new season? He's in Tokyo now. Is he going to be tired? There's all these questions, and it probably just goes back to when we were talking about the balance of the squad and what other people are doing around you. You've got to take all of this into consideration.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's the more you know than your team, your competitors, the better off you are. But you also have to be calm in the draft and not rush, and make sure that you use that knowledge well. Definitely.
And what we were talking about pacing the drinks. All right. And that comes into being calm, cool, and collected during draft.
It's easy to get on the beers at draft.
Right.
Make sure you're on the beers a bit late.
Yeah, or just pick up a few cheeky non-alcoholic ciders.
Oh, that's dog. That's a dog act. That's a dog act.
That's cheating. I reckon
chuck
that's cheating.
Chuck it in a stubby holder. No one will ever know.
That's like kicking someone in the balls. All right. Well, I think we've covered off a fair few names there. I think this might be a nice place to round out this preseason pod. Hope it's not been too dry for people. It's been a new experience for us to try this on Zoom, and it's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
Oh, it's just been good chatting fantasy again, boys. Getting excited again.
Fuck yeah.
It's got me really excited because I hadn't done a lot of work until prep for this pod, and I am so pumped, especially going in as champion to defend my title. I'm so
fuck off. I can't believe it, mate. You plug it every fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah, don't worry, listeners. I've had the trophy in my background just to tease him, like the whole fucking recording. Yeah. Just so
it hurts.
He hasn't been able to get it off me, seeing as we can't see each other. So
yeah,
we'll see.
It is what it is. All right. Well, for this week, we're going to round it out. Make sure you follow us on socials, FPL Draft Boyz. We're on Insta, Twitter. Hit us up, please. We will respond.
Especially at the moment because we're doing nothing.
Yeah, we love fan interaction. If we can call anyone that.
Yeah.
All right.